What's up? Yep, that's my intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As promised, I told you I'll get you guys a video out on subs. This isn't meant to be an all-inclusive video on subs. I just want to go over some things maybe you did not know. And in the end, I want to end with which is the best subs to have. I know everyone's always asking, which subs should I get? What subs should I get? So we're going to attempt to answer that question. I do want to say that this list is not one of those lists where it's just emphatic. A lot of times choosing the best subs depends on what part of the game you're in. As you can see, I have the screen on dealing with the levy. I just want you guys to know subs do increase the amount of levy. The amount of levy increases is where it says gold revenue. What's in the regular numbers is how much you're actually generating from your subs. What's in the green numbers is how much extra you get based on whatever bonuses you may be utilizing. So I just wanted to make that clear so people can understand that. So when you get a bonus, it'll be in green. So it will increase in green based off of what bonuses you get towards gold. And this is decided by skills you may decide to put on your generals. If you put the gold increase, this will increase this number. There's other things that will increase this number, which I'll go over right now since we're speaking about subs. Just want to give you guys a heads up and let you know that generals affect subs in multiple different ways. One of the ways they affect subs is in leadership. The higher the leadership on the general, it increases the sub training speed. Training speeds regards to troops. So it increases how fast that sub produces troops. The higher the general's leadership is, the faster it increases. For each 1 point on leadership, it increases the training speed by 0.1%. This is very important information, guys. The other thing is politics. The politics on the general increases the sub construction speed. Each one for 0.1%, and it also increases the gold production rate. So this is important to not just put a general inside the sub, but to put a general that has high leadership and high politics. And since we're speaking on these subs and we're speaking on generals, I'd like to mention also that the general that you have in the sub, his skills apply to the sub when the sub is being used along with the general from the main city in attack. It applies just on the troops that's in that sub. It doesn't apply on the overall troops. It applies on just the troops that's in that sub. This applies to the attack and the defense inside of that sub. The sub general has those type of effects on the sub, and it's very important that you understand that. So here there's a picture of a sub. I wanted you guys to take note that it says NPC Subordinate City Murphy. The reason why it says Murphy is because that's the name of the general that is in that sub. So anytime you see a sub that has a name attached to it, it is because there's a general inside that sub. These generals could be taken and sold for gold. So number 7 on the list is Korea. Korea is actually, I don't want to say the worst sub because as I mentioned before, all subs are beneficial based off of what you need at that time. I do want to mention before I go forward that all subs have 2 benefits that you can only acquire with special permissions. That is the training speed and the war tactics. Subordinate city training speed, which we see here, it says require a mayor of historic general. So you got to have a general placed as mayor that is historic. And then war tactics requires mayor leadership reach 900 and politics reach 900. These 2 abilities are in every single sub, all 7 of them. So if you put a leader in there with 900 leadership and 900 politics, and he's historic, he will unlock all 4 of the sub's abilities. And those abilities, one is particularly and specifically to the sub, and the other one is death and survival rate in that sub city as well. Both of them are specifically for that sub. So Korea, like I mentioned, is number 7 on the list. And this because the abilities that it gives you is warehouse capacity and resources from gathering. It increases based on whether it's a common being white sub, uncommon, which is green sub, excellent, which is a blue sub, legendary, which is a purple sub, or epic, which is a gold sub. And these are the numbers in which they increase. As you can see, the warehouse capacity increased by 6% on a common sub, up to 30% on an epic sub. A lot of people, they don't really care too much about warehouse capacity, because this is one of those things that it only really matters when, one, you're being attacked, and two, when you're actually doing a lot of farming, or high level farming. Because if you didn't know, you can only farm a certain amount of resources at one time, depending on your warehouse. That's food for thought. You may not have known that. And the gathering benefits is extra how much you're going to actually gather for sub. As I mentioned this and as the 7th place sub, because these are two areas that a lot of the bigger players don't focus on so much. You start gathering later on, but maybe smaller and mid-side that focus a lot on gathering might want to take a look at the career subs that help them to amass a lot of resources. If you have enough troops and you want to be able to take more resources from a particular resource spot. Number 6 on the list is gonna go with America. Before we go forward, I also want to say that you can see a picture of that general that is in there, located here where it says city mayor, subordinate city mayor. And that's just a picture of whoever it may be at that time. And like I said, America is number 6 on the list. America, it has city gold production and research speed. A person will say, wait a minute. How is gold production and research speed so low down on the list? Those seem like extremely high priorities for any person. Gold production could be increased up to 50%. The problem with it is only for that sub. And subs does not produce a significant amount of gold to make this that important, especially at earlier parts of the game. And when it comes to research, you're not, unless you're about to speed through research and you have a high level city and you want to grab a bunch of American subs to speed through your research, then you're not going to be doing research for very long. And even if you did that, you would do it for that moment, and then you will start needing other things. The sub becomes less and less important as you're playing the game. So it's not a sub you want to keep for long term. Next on the city, on the subordinate city, is Europe. Europe deals with construction speed and experience monster kills. This is experience from monster kills, meaning that when you're killing bosses or killing monsters, the amount of experience that's going to be given to the general that's leading the army. This will increase that. This will increase that general by this percent, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10%. And it's a matter of how much do you care about that, because from my experience specifically, there's not a lot of experience given. So 10% of a little bit, to me, it's still a little bit. Construction speed. Construction is something constantly going on in your city, and this will affect directly your city. Construction speed will affect directly your city. So this makes Europe an important subordinate city to have. The reason why it's so low on the list, as you will see as we're coming up, the other things on the list just seem like something that you would need a bit more than you will actually need the construction speed. Which you will need the construction speed a lot. And it goes all the way up to 15% if it's an epic city. Moving on up, we have Russia. Russia is not a premier or great city, but what it has is something that you will benefit a whole lot from defense every single time when you're defending your city. It increases troop attack whenever you're being attacked. So that's something that's very important. Whenever you're being attacked, it increases your troops' attack. This is important for increasing the attack. Anytime you can increase the attack on your mounted troops, it is something that's a huge benefit to you. And when you have ground troops in your city defending your city, increasing their attack helps to be able to kill the ranged troops quicker. And this is just so important. And traps are not very valuable in the game, but when you have them, increasing their attack. Some of you guys know if you're attacking cities that have traps, you have troops that are being wounded and troops that are dying, specifically with no other troops inside the game, just attacks. And a lot of times, this is due to the sub. So the reason why this sub is rich and high on the list is because it's something that is constantly given to your main city. It is constantly given to your main city. So it is very important. Next on the list, a lot of people probably would thought this would have been listed higher. China. China is a great city. It is number 3, not number 2, not number 1. What it has is, what rose it to this height is the training speed. Resource production is the reason why I went to number 3. The reason why these things are both good and the reason why the resource production is bad is because they're both inside the city. So these are things that are affecting the main city. Anytime the sub is affecting the main city, these are extra benefits to your main city. So training speed in your main city, you could be training any troops. This is faster calves. This is faster range. This is faster ground troops, and it's in your main city. Up to 10% if you have an epic. And this is significant, as you guys know. Troop training takes a lot of time. This will decrease the amount of speed ups you're using on your training, decrease the amount of gyms you're using to be able to train, and just decrease the amount of overall time it takes you to train a large amount of troops. Resource production, depending on where you are in the game, is not a lot. So most people do not start working on their resource field until they have their city up to very high levels, or if they need it to upgrade a building. This is the reason why this is number 3, because you want to put something on a higher, on 2 or 1, things that is going to benefit the city the most. And this one is going to surprise a lot of people, but at number 2 on the list is Japan. I know a lot of you guys were automatically assuming Japan was going to be ranked number 1 on this list. But let's go into what Japan does. You can immediately see that the things that it has in the city, what benefits the city is the attacking troop attack. This is mean when you're sending troops out from your main city, regardless if you're using subs or you're not using subs, this subordinate city will increase the troop attack. If you have an epic up to 10%, that is huge. Huge. We were doing some experiments on seeing the effectiveness of range on calves, and one of the things that happened was, without the subordinate city even being attached, the benefit that one of the players in my alliance got from just having this subordinate city made it impossible to give an accurate reading on our tests. It made it impossible. The reason why it's 2 and not 1 is because the secondary function is, even though it affects the main city, is material production speed. A lot of you guys do not produce material. I do. If you need something to go to red or level 7, you're gonna need to use all your material slots 3 times. If you didn't know that, there's a bit of information for you. You fill up your resource spots 3 times, and you go ahead, your material production 3 times, and then you go ahead and you speed up. Now, for me, it's 2,007 pieces of gem to speed that up. Having a Japan city will decrease that amount of time. However, many people do not produce their own material. And you should if you're not. And this will decrease the time. Number 1 on the list, at least 1, is Arabia. Arabia is number 1 on this list. Why? Healing speed. Healing speed and hospital capacity. These are very, very, very important in the game. Another beneficial tool when you're going against the undead is healing speed. Everyone knows how annoying it is healing troops during the undead. Hospital capacity. This will benefit you if you forget to put your shields up and you attack and you increase the hospital capacity. The hospital capacity can be increased up to 15%. The healing speed can be increased up to 10%. And think of this. Think of this on healing speed. You go ahead, you put your monarch gear on healing. You go ahead, you put your general on duty inside your hospital. And then you have a bunch of Arabias as your subordinate cities. This will drop the healing speed. This will increase the healing speed and drop the healing time tremendously. You cannot tell me that is not a very beneficial part of this game. As I mentioned, some people are going to disagree on some of the things I'm saying, and it's meant to be. There's things that you're only going to utilize at certain points of the game, and things you're going to utilize at different parts of the game. So you have to figure out where you are and what you need at that point. But this list is more so for people who are just, they want to be excited about getting subs, and they want to know what subs to get. And maybe early in the server, you have a bunch of legendary subs available, and you want to get something that's going to benefit you more so in the now than in the later, or maybe people think in the future and one thing that's going to benefit them more in the later than it is in the now. So you want to know, what should I get? How are these things going to benefit me? What should I know about the subs? So this is some information I decided to part to you guys. If you guys like, please like and subscribe and promote. You guys have a good day.